and we want the fans out of their seat. We want to score goals. We want to give them, momentum on our side, and then on the flip side is when we don't have the ball, is it we got to be dogs.
Va a salir como un pase a media altura. Termina siendo un centro al segundo palo y el jugador más bajo, 1,60 m, se lo grita a los rivales.
And we're live. Welcome everyone to the Afterburn Soccer Show on this hopefully a beautiful evening wherever you find yourself. As we get going, we talk about a wild weekend for FC Dallas and North Texas Soccer Club, and I'm excited to welcome back our good friends Colin. Colin, how are you?
Doing pretty good.
And Ishmael is back
with
y'all.
Us. Hope y'all doing all right.
Yeah. And there he is. Jose coming in. Yeah, but late but not last. But not least. It's good to see you, Jose. And sporting the scarf there, wearing your colors.
Everybody.
After a couple of dismal home matches, we were rightfully a little nervous and anxious about this road match up to Real Salt Lake, and it was a wild game. It was an emotional game. It was a little nasty. Let's just be real. And but FC Dallas got it done. Took advantage of the red card to a Real Salt Lake player, which maybe was a little sketchy of a red card, but FC Dallas has been on the receiving end of those sketchy red cards too many times. So it was nice to have one go in our favor. And Lucho Acosta, as you saw in the opening credits there with the header, he had a missed PK in this one. So really there were probably some goals left out there. So signs that this was not the perfect match, but a clean sheet, the first of the year, and a huge 3 points that sort of lets this team reset a bit as they come back home this weekend. So let's just start with our reactions to this match. And, of course, if you have a comment or question, hit us up in the chat. I see our buddy Marcin is already with us, so going to join the conversation. But, Colin, let's just start with you. Give us your reactions to this win in Salt Lake City for FC Dallas. Oh, you're muted, buddy.
I do that every time. So my reaction to this game is a little bit skewed because funny story, checked a curb on the way to Brahms for us to watch the game, me and my buddies, and completely blew my tire. So that was pretty fun. So I missed the first half. And I caught a little bit of the back half. I saw the Lucho penalty miss because I saw we got a pen. I was able to watch the replay of the red card, and I got to see Lucho's goal and then the whole second half, so I can speak on those points. The red card, as a defender myself, I would be ticked off that it's given as a red card because, again, I'm even pulling out and stopping, and I still make connection with him. By the book, it is a red card. Can't really argue that. Studs are going into the player's ankle. The attacking player is defenseless. It's a reckless challenge. It's a red card. Would I be mad if I got that like myself in like a Sunday league or whenever I was playing like youth ball? Absolutely, but it's a red card. The pin from Lucho, I think it's also just a good save from Rafael. I think it's Rafael Cabral. In net, he's he's older, but he's still a very experienced goalkeeper. Very agile and acrobatic goalkeeper as well, who has a good record against penalties. But that goal that we got was just well worked. It was funny enough seeing the shortest player we have against RSL's tallest player, 5'3" Lucho, and 6'5". I think it's Brunson or beasting back there. So overall, I think it was a really good game. The second half worried me a little bit that we didn't kill it off earlier, and that we seemed to just kind of play with RSL a bit. And towards the end of the second half, like those last 15 minutes, it became a little bit scary. I was kind of expecting the old SCD of collapse to happen again, but Quill did really well with his subs and did really well with the shape for this game. I think the diamond, or like the fourth and three flat center mids, really helped cushion and give some defensive shape for the back line. But other than that, I mean, I think it was a really good, solid road win. The red card definitely helped us get that win there, but it is you still got to go out there and take those 3 points, and that's exactly what they did.
That's exactly what they did. That that kind of gutsy road win. Well, Ishmael, let's jump over to you. Give us your thoughts on that clutch, important win in Salt Lake for this team.
I mean, I think the biggest thing, and I really haven't seen a lot of people talk about it, was that there was just an incredible display of defensive stability, I think. Because when you decide to kind of go on the back foot, when you're even a man up, uh, to kind of hold on to a lead, we know how dangerous that is because Dallas has kind of messed that up time and time again. But in this game, there was a lot of like defensive stability aside from that Colodi save, where he got down low. I don't really remember RSL threatening the goal that much. The XG, I think they had it was like below a couple points below 1.0 XG. I think it was like zero point 0.7 or something like that. Um, this was again, we wanted them to kill off the game. They tried a couple times, and Colin already talked about Rafael Cabral like standing on his head. Um, but I was just impressed after the last couple of weeks where we've been talking about how poor they looked defensively. This was a marked improvement. Whether it be because of that really good formation change with the 4-1-2-1-2 diamond, or I don't know, because of the fact that Orogide is a top five defender in this league 100%, or because Kolodi is really, really commanding in the box. All those factors came together to a really good defensive performance that I think the team should be really proud of.
It has to be a big. Just the way this team has leaked goals. I mean, yeah, Colodi. Like we'll hear about him in a second from Eric Quill, a video clip I have. But yeah, like what a clutch performance for the guy to come in and to have to really translate his skills in an interesting situation in a tough environment, but to do what he needed to do. But yeah, I think defense we can definitely say there was improvement. Jose, we'll jump to you now. What were your reactions to this performance from FC Dallas?
My reaction was that this match was a confirmation of a couple of things. One, uh, that Kalodi is for sure our number two goalkeeper, and has basically displayed why he's risen through the ranks so quickly. Um, I mean, for crying out loud, it's our first shout out of the year, and it wasn't with Paz in goal, who's been struggling, and to see Kaladi come in and just look rock solid. I mean, that's great, and hopefully it'll push Paz to make improvements to play better. You got to have someone pushing the players that are starting. The other thing is that I think this game also confirms that Quill is the right man for the job. Let's face it. Last year we saw a manager that refused to abandon his formation, even though we all knew he was trying to put uh, triangles and triangle pegs and square holes, and it just didn't work. And he did very little. I'm talking about our manager last year to really go away from that. Quill here. I mean, who saw that diamond coming? I know I didn't. At best, I could have seen a 4-3-3, and I do think I saw a bit of a 4-3-3 usage there. I'm not sure this was a true diamond. I think this was a hybrid of the two. and it's the right call. I mean, of course, it looks good against a 10-man team, but in all honesty, it's a good way to get the team introduced to this new formation, and it's probably gonna be a couple of weeks before they get it right. It could be longer, but yeah, I mean, those are my takeaways. Is that Quill is showing you he's the right man for the job. He made changes that none of us saw coming, and also I was happy to see our missing transfer player finally get a start up top.
Right.
You
Little
know, we've been
Chew. Where have
wondering.
you been, Chew?
Yeah,
Yeah.
where and I thought he looked good. I mean, I thought he looked good. I'm not saying he didn't look great, but I thought he looked solid and looks like he'll add a lot to this team going forward.
Yeah, definitely just some interesting, pieces, signs of development. I mean, Collodi is one storyline, but yeah, getting to see Leo Chu and he brought something to the team. Is it his job? Did he win the job? Probably not. I think we're still looking to see if Farrington or Kamungo will be in competition, and I think Quill has said that he wants that position opposite Anderson Julio to be a competition, but we really need someone to step up there sooner rather than later. But yeah, this formation tweak was a nice surprise. It shows that Quill is understanding that he's gonna have to, yeah, he's gonna have to figure this team out. He's got some time, can't panic, but I'm gonna have to try some different ways just to get the most out of these players. Yeah, of course, I don't know what you do about PKs. We missed two so far this season, which is really bad luck, really disappointing. So there's a lot of little things here, but I like the look of the defense. I thought that Ramiro and I thought Sebastian Leggett was one of his better games so far this season. Unlucky not to score. So some really positives that you could pull out for several players that we may have been a little harsh on the past few weeks. I mean, Ishmael was, for you, was that formation tweak? Is that something you think we're going to see more of going forward?
Well, so the reason why I think it will be something we see going forward is that, and this is maybe me reading too much into something, but Kaike already made the bench after 1 week of being here. That kind of tells me that he is going to be like either in competition or kind of beat out Ramiro for that defensive mid position within the next 2 to 3 weeks, right? And Ramiro showed how good he is when he is playing that single pivot. This was again his best game. He kind of had a worse second half than the first half, I think. It wasn't the best in the second half once the team was dealing with a lot of pressure. It felt like he ran out of gas. It felt like again he's a little bit older, and I don't know. It's not the same Ramiro that Gremio had like 4 years ago. So I think that's what they're looking for in Kaike. Um, and I think that once you put Kaike in that defensive mid position, if he's all that has been hyped up to be, with that $4 million price tag, um, this might be the formation that we see. Because imagine Julio was starting instead of Chu. There would have been a lot more verticality, I think, a lot more adaptability from that front line. Chu was good. I think that he was good um, with that interplay within him and Musa and Acosta, but it wasn't as good as I thought it could be. And Julio's really good at being able to like make that split second run and go behind the player after a little bit of passing around, and that kind of can break those lines. Um, Now, is Delgado going to be starting full time? I don't know. He was really good in this game, and I think that when he came in last week, he looked much better than that performance against Chicago.
Yeah.
Um, and I've always been a big Delgado defender because I think he brings a lot of forward play to the team. That's why he's kind of been inseparable from starting over the last year. The three coaches he's played for have wanted to put him on the field. Um, but I mean, I would like to see this team at full strength with Julio up top and maybe Kaike playing at defensive mid in that 4-1-2-2 sometime in the future before I can make a statement saying that this is what they should roll out with. I am glad though, like it was said that Eric is willing to make these changes. That's a good sign. He's willing to adapt. That he's willing to um, not be hard headed.
Yeah. Well, and I just got to give some love to Patrickson Delgado. I mean, I know there's still some people on the fence about him, or whether it was worth it for the team to pick up him permanently. But boy, he put his body on the line. He fought for this shirt. I mean, he was just mistreated in this game. I mean, but so credit to him for staying in some of those tough tackles and things and putting his body in there and just taking a beating for the team to give them a chance on the road. So what a good little sign for him. And I think, yeah, it feels like right now Quill just has all these different pieces. And of course, it's pretty much been a rebuild of the roster. And so, yeah, some pieces may not quite fit, or it may be about getting them in the right place, in the right configuration to get the most out of these guys. But yeah, so here, Colin, I'll go to you now. I just flowing with this. Last week, we were, as FC Dallas fans, a little bit close to some panic mode, right? We were like, yeah, we had 4 points from the road, which was a great way to start the season. But then 2 losses at home, you're outscored, 4-1. Just a team that didn't look like it had answers. You go back on the road, you get this gutsy 1-0 win. Now, you have 7 points from those first 5 games. And if you had said to us, 7 points in the first 5 games with 2 are home, 3 on the road, you probably would have gone, that's not bad. That's not, you win your 2 home games, you get a draw on the road, we'll take it. Strangely, not a point at home yet. Hopefully this weekend we'll get one. But so is this an opportunity for fans to kind of relax on the panic a little bit and give this team a longer run before you start thinking, hey, we've got bigger issues to deal with?
I would say a little bit of yes and no, and the reason I say that is if you to kind of play devil's advocate to your point and just look at how it looks on paper, we've looked amazing on the road. I mean, all of our points have come on the road. I mean, all of our points that have us sitting, I believe, in a playoff spot pretty comfortably. I think 7th or 6th or 8th. We're in 8th right now. And we're on 7 points, 2 points off of second place. Again, it's still early on in the season. A lot can happen. But to think that all those points came on the road and you can't get the job done at home against a very weak and tired, not even rotated Vancouver side, because it was very similar to the 11 they put out in Monterrey, where they made a cross-country trip the day before, and then they flew straight to Frisco the day after and stayed here and trained here leading up to the game. You collapse, and I mean collapse, against Chicago at home. It's one of those things where you're supposed to be strongest at home, and MLS has shown that you got to win on the road to be a good team and to be a great team, but that's also saying that you get your crap handled at home. So it's one of those things where, I would ease off the panic button of like Quill out and like saying that the players aren't fighting for the badge and like all of the issues we had with Nico and Luxon last season. I'd say a lot of those issues are behind us. It's more about consistent results at home and looking consistent at home, because this dog mentality going out on the road has worked great. But whenever we're at home, the dog mentality seemed to just disappear, as if us being at home and the fans of the dog mentality, the players start to show up and play. The fans aren't going to win you games. So it's one of those things where, like, if I'm Quill, I'm telling the team, keep the dog energy and keep going, keep fighting. And that's what got us, comfortable against Chicago. It was too little too late against Vancouver, not registering a shot on target at home. Mm-hmm. It's still worrying to me. I'm still not, I'm sold on Quill, 100% I am, but I'm a little anxious for home games. Kansas City, in my opinion, the worst team in the West. You got to get a result at home. And if we can't get a result, and I mean a win, screw result. If we can't get a win at home against Kansas City, I would stop. The panic might be warranted at that point.
Well, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Let's go ahead and jump over to a little bit of Quill's reaction on this road win. and I'll come back to you, Jose, with your
Sure thing.
thoughts.
Yeah, an emotional game, obviously, in an away environment that got really rowdy when the red card happened. But for 25 minutes before the red card, I thought we were the better team. I thought we were moving the ball well. I thought we were getting into some good areas. I thought we were dictating the pace of the game. Um, and obviously, the red card is unfortunate for them, but and it's never easy, even though you go a man up, especially on the road, to see it out. And I thought we had some big chances. I mean, look, we missed a penalty. We had some big keeper made a big save on legit late. I mean, we had chances to go 2-3 up. Didn't take those chances, so we put ourselves in a 1-0 game late, and where they're throwing the kitchen sink at you. And what I loved about us was our ability and our mentality in the air when balls were coming in from direct areas, and guys were warriors climbing the ladder. Guys were warriors picking up second balls. We knew it was going to get ugly, and sometimes you get burned if you don't have that championship type mentality. If you're just kind of there, you're going to get stung on those direct plays. And we did a great job, I thought, competing for first and picking up seconds. And I thought Collodi, for me, what a game. I mean, with his feet, shot stopping, dealing with crosses, I thought the kid was outstanding. He was my man of the match, hands down. And so I'm just proud of him. That's not easy to come into a hostile environment and put a performance on like he did. So credit to him, and he's got a big future. But I'm proud of the performance of everyone. That's 2 wins and a tie and 3 games on the road, and that's showing signs of warrior type mentality. And now we got to take care of business at home.
I love his high praise for Collodi. So let's revisit that for a minute. I mean, you already touched upon it, Jose. But could Collodi be our surprise goalkeeper? I mean, and Paz has been shaky. He's been shaky, and he's on international break right now. Good for him. But gosh, Collodi. He showed some things that we kind of lacked a little bit with pace about like getting the ball out there in certain spaces where the players could run onto it and make some things happen. So I don't want to overthink one performance, but it was exciting to see him come in such a clutch way, right? So could he conceivably beat out Paz for that starting keeper spot at some point this season?
Well, I don't know. I'm happy to see him get a good result. I think it's positive. I think it makes us feel better about our backup situation. But I think Paz will get back in form at some point and get back to the guy that we saw. And so being confident in your backup is a big deal. And knowing that should Paz fall to injury or miss a lot of international due to international matches, it's good to know that you'll have confidence in that backup. And I'm okay if Collodi doesn't beat him out. Also, I wanted to add also, we were talking about earlier about the formation change and how a lot of players shined due to this formation change. Ramiro had his best game. I mean, let's face it, he belongs as that single pivot. But let's not forget Leggett also had an excellent game because he wasn't asked to be so far back. He was allowed to be much higher, be that linking midfielder that we want him to be. And Delgado, of course, his best game I've seen in a while, playing that Carriero style midfielder where he was basically dropping back to help cover whenever a Farfan would run forward, which we saw a lot of, by the way. I thought Shackmore also shined. We haven't really talked about that, but having that coverage that Delgado dropping back and helping and Ramiro helping protect the back line, it freed Shaq to not have to play so much defense, which is his weakness. And and of course we didn't have to worry about Acosta having to drop back or Musa having to drop back like we saw before. this formation fixes so many things that was wrong. That was wrong in the first 4 weeks, and I'm kind of excited to see what he does with it, going forward. And yes, I do agree with Kuva about we got to get that home result. I think I think the fans will still be nervous about this team until they come home and get 3 points, and not just like by the seat of your pants 3 points either. you know, I,
Yeah.
uh, I want them to get a resounding 3 points at home next week, and then I think we'll all feel a little better. But I think everyone's still, you know, a little. Some people could say, hey, it would have been a different game if that red card hadn't happened. You guys might not have won. So I think this game alleviates some of them fears, shows that this team's heading in the right direction. But I think no one's people are still concerned, and they have a right to be. But I think this is a good sign that we're heading in the right direction.
Well, we'll come back to the Sporting Kansas City matchup this weekend. We'll in just a few moments. But let's go ahead and shift over to North Texas, whereas FC Dallas got a gutsy win on the road. North Texas did not. They crashed and burned as they went down a man, with Augusto getting his second yellow, and really just gave Dynamo 2 just so much confidence to take the game to North Texas, finishing 5-1. Mo Sissette, one of our super draft signings, an interesting defender, got his first goal of the season, so it was a good little moment for him. But boy, this team collapsed, and I think I couldn't pull up the video in time, but John Gall after the match was pretty clear that he felt that there were some mistakes, of course, but also just a lot of it was about a sense of that mentality, that confidence, that once that the Dynamo got in their groove, that it was hard to stop them, and it just was difficult for North Texas. So a learning experience, though, for that young team who's definitely still figuring things out, and I think maybe even needed another wake-up call just to keep doing the hard work to get to where they need to be. I don't know if anyone had any thoughts, watched the match and had any thoughts on it. It was not a fun one.
I honestly, I didn't really watch the match. I forgot the start time, and by the time I jumped on, it was already 3-1, and things were already heading south. And I don't think I really learned anything off of that. So, but it's a young team. You're gonna have red cards, players getting yellows, unnecessary yellows, and it's all, it's all the growing pains of feeling such a young team. And it's something that we'll see on and off every other week. You're going to have like I already said before, it's going to be a Jekyll and Hyde performance. We don't know which North Texas team we're getting week in, week out, until all the young players settle into a groove, and it starts, clicking. So that's just the way it's going to be. They can rebound back next week and win, and it'll be much like we're talking with FC Dallas. It'll be a roller coaster ride for that team. They've got a lot of talent, and they got a good coach. So I give them a couple of months before they get it together, and we start seeing, they may be a 500 team come mid-season, but, with the academy and the kids in college and all that, the resource available talent-wise for this team, I think they'll turn around eventually. It's just a matter of time. We just have to, put up with the growing pains.
Also, what I will say about North Texas is that the two losses they've had have been bad losses, but they've been against probably the best teams in the Western Conference of MLS Next Pro, right? And you also don't have, almost none of their signings are in town so far. Sissette, Sarver, and Augusto are here, but aside from that, and the new goalkeeper that played this week, but aside from that, you're still missing about 3 or 4 signings that they've made in the offseason that were players that they really wanted, and I think they're considering as core part of this team. So, and the 2 losses are against a Dynamo team that has been good in the past and has looked good so far this year. and a St. Louis team that will most definitely be at the top of the West, either 1, 2, or 3. So, I mean, I don't think there's too much. There's no alarm bells. If you lose like 2 or 3 more games in this fashion where you get dominated, then there might be some concerns about how the team is smashing. But at least so far, I don't think there's any cause for alarm.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
Yeah, no, I mean, they're like both Ishmael and Jose have said. I mean, they're both young teams, and I mean, when you're missing a big core of the core of the team and key signings that they've made, and you're playing a center back at DM, and you're playing a more attacking center mid at DM, and you lose one of your one of your better players, in my opinion, in Augusto. I mean, you're down a man on the road against a rival. It's one of the better teams. I mean, it's looking for disaster because I mean, Augusto got that in the 57th minute, and their goals, I believe, were like 71st, 75th, and 83rd. Watching that game, it was very much we held on for a good 10, 15 minutes, and then we just looked gassed. And at that point, there's not much you could do. And that's like kind of like the beauty of these teams in these second divisions is these players don't really have pro experience before. A lot of these players are getting their first bit of starting pro experience. They're also getting a bit of road experience, a bit of just pro life. Um, Not many chances do you get even in college or youth academy games or the backgrounds where you're down on the road against a rival like that. And I mean, you got to learn somehow in some way. And I mean, this game also for 2 of those goals that the Dynamo scored very close from keeping it to a 3-run result. Very, very close goals and saves that maybe the keeper should have done better on. But it's just one of those things where this is a very young team and they gotta learn the hard way. And that's the beauty of what happened last season. Those players had the experience and they learned the hard way and they were able to stay strong and stay resilient, being down 1 or 2 goals and coming back on the road a few times. So just one of those things. It's unfortunate, but again, they need the experience they need to learn, and that's the beauty of second division soccer.
It is. JT Harms making his debut, his first professional game as a goalkeeper, an interesting guy, prospect out of Indiana, has a lot of experience, but there's only so much you can do in that scenario. I know there's probably a couple of those goals that he would wish he had a little better positioning on, but hey, this is tough. It's a first start at this level, and these things happen in soccer. You roll with it. But yeah, so I just think this is still very much a work in progress. I don't know that. I think North Texas is going to be in the mix come playoff time, but they're going to have a lot of learning and growing to do. There's some quality there. There's some talent there, but they're also trying to make it all fit together and figuring out who they can turn to and who's going to be their clutch guys. So there's just a lot of work to be done, and so it's a learning experience for Gall and for the whole team. So yeah, that's why it's one of the ones. Hey, put it behind you. It didn't go your way. And we lost Ishmael all of a sudden. Yeah, and put it behind you, and we go from there. Yeah, and meanwhile, like my dog came in, so he's joining the pod here for a minute.
hey, we need a new pod pet. Remember?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, look. Well, let's. Hey, do we want to talk about the United States men's national team? The disappointment, getting beat by Panama. Now the soul searching once again that it seems like we're perpetually doing as a national team program. Do we have the right coach? Is the coach making the right choices, getting the right thing out of the players? I don't know.
My comments on that is finally people are seeing that the manager isn't necessarily the issue with this team. People have been, to put it kindly, shitting on Berhalter forever, begging for him to be replaced by some high-paid European manager. We finally get that done, and guess what? The results haven't changed. In fact, you could argue, I know it's early and people are saying give the man some time, but losing losing to Panama that way, it just this team just it showed that it lacked a lot. You know, I mean, is that the manager? Is that the players? This team has issues, and it goes above just the manager. And you know, I, I I hope they turn around. I know we all want to turn around, but I think it's a hopefully a realization to a lot of fans that hey, you know, Berhalter wasn't necessarily the biggest issue with this team.
Yeah. I think.
Yeah.
But it's always been one of the things too. If everyone was healthy, we'd have a really good starting 11. But still, that starting 11 has to be deployed in the right way, has to fit, and then people got to be informed. It's a
But
tough one. I mean,
people have to be willing to fight for the badge, man. And this team just seems to lack that. I mean, the previous we've had teams in the past that had far less talent than this team that played with a lot more guts and grit and passion that what we're seeing out there right now. You know, I mean, that's all I want. I just want a team that shows some grit, that shows some, hey, you know, you can't, you know, we're gonna give as good as we get, and that's all I want. I just want a team that fights, fights for the badge, and I'm not sure we're getting that.
I appreciate all the comments, and yeah, it's been an endless cycle. Oh, Josh Sargent, he's the next one. Of course, we miss Pepe
Oh my god.
in this one. But if guys aren't healthy, and Gio
Are they
Reyna,
as bad as I was gonna say? Are they as bad as the Gio Reyna people? I mean, you know, so many
Don't get me
managers
started,
can't all be
bro.
wrong.
I'll rant for
So many
30 minutes
managers
about
can't
men's
be wrong.
national team stands, bro. Oh my lord. Like Gio Reyna is ever since not even his last injury, the injury before, he has not looked good for Dortmund. He's not looked good for the country. He didn't even look good when he was playing for Dortmund's youth teams trying to get fitness. Gio Reyna should be nowhere near the national team at this point, in my opinion. Give me Diego Luna, and I'm not even happy with Diego Luna at this point. It's the national team is in one of these points where I am just like so over it. Again, we're starting Josh Sargent, who has not scored for the men's national team in almost 2 years. Everyone's going to say, oh, but he scored a goal or two and they weren't counted. Yeah, did he score on the score sheet? I didn't think so. So shut your mouth. Like, again, I'll sit here and be very aggressive and rude about men's national team stuff because, man, it is just so annoying. The same things happen year in, year out. No improvements, no changes. And again, the one coach they signed is Pochettino. This could be the Arsenal fan in me, but I never thought he was a good coach when he was at PSG, when he was at Tottenham. I didn't think he was a good coach at Chelsea. I don't think Pochettino has the mindset to coach a young team like more recently than this, I lost my train of thought because I'm actually just genuinely angry. But like it actually annoys me watching the men's national team discourse on Twitter because I think you got to play players that not only fit your system, like Jose said, but you got to play people that are informed too. Like you got to play these players. Like, do I think Azurmong and Brian White should be getting called up to the men's national team? Absolutely not. But are you ever gonna throw someone like? Are you ever gonna like? Who else are you gonna bring? Like you have no one else to really call up who's doing well, and it's one of those things where like, is this the best group of national team players we've had? Like, I think people forget like how many Europeans we had on, or how many European teams our past players played on. Like, I I truly don't think that this is the best generation of players we've had. I think Pulisic is by ability the best men's national team player we've ever had. But again, yes, he was the GOAT at Southampton. I will give him credit for that. But like I look at this team and I compare it to the teams I watched as a kid and for like the 2010 World Cup and um in the 2006 World Cup, and I'm look at this team and I'm like, where's the actual fight? Like back then, it was known that we weren't great technically, so we had to fight to get results. Now it's, oh, you're the best generation we have. You're the best players we've had. Go out there and fight for the badge. I think, if anything, they're being coddled and they're having big heads on we're the best to ever wear this badge. And you can see like games against Mexico where they mean more, and games against like games like that where it's like heated games, we perform really well, and we do really, really well. But at the same time, how are we going to go out to Panama and lose in the fashion that we did? Like, I don't know, man. I don't think the World Cup's going to look good for us next year unless we have a major overhaul by the end of this year. And knowing the men's national team and U.S. soccer, it is not going to happen. So.
Always the what ifs. Always the what ifs at that level for us fans, national team fans. And yeah, those moments too. I was hanging on every result, and lately I realized, oh, they're playing. Yeah. Well, and part of it too, I think, is that we're not going to have to compete for a spot this go round since we're co-hosts and everything. So, all right. But still, I think we do need to see more. And I think for everyone who griped about Berhalter, and granted Berhalter had his issues, but I think also the player pool has its issues, as you said. Berhalter never lost a Nations Cup, Nations League, whatever this is. He never did. He found ways to get these guys to win against these minnows, so to speak. So credit to Panama, for taking their chances. It was a cool little moment for them. But yeah, I think we're always asking the what ifs, and also this question now, like, I'd rather have a guy who's playing regularly in Major League Soccer and who fits the mold than going a guy who's on the bench or is always injured in Europe, who may have a higher ceiling, but I want to know what we're going up against and making sure those players are pushing each other. So there's work to be done.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, all right. Well, let's close out the show by returning to the Sporting Kansas City matchup this weekend. Now, look, I'm going to be clear. This has got to be a win for FC Dallas. And granted, I'll take a professional 1-0, 2-0 win where, we're still a work in progress. Things aren't exactly firing on all cylinders yet. But, hey, we get that clean sheet at home. We just take care of business. And it's never really in doubt. But what I really want is I want a 6-0. I want FC Dallas to play angry. I want them to come out. I want them in this new formation to click, to take their chances, so that literally Peter Vermes is fired in Frisco. That would
That's
be
what I'm talking about.
and look, the guy's a legend for Sporting Kansas City. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame, U.S. Hall of Fame at some point. I mean,
Don't care. I want him gone.
But
so tired of him being in this league,
dude.
I want him
time.
gone.
Yeah, and that team is not working. So, of course, so let's do predictions. But that's my dream. So, but I'm not going to be that greedy. A 2-0 win is what I pick now. But I'm like you guys. If it ends up being a draw, or worse, a loss, I think then we're going to have a lot more questions of this team. So not that like this is going to make or break the season or anything like that, but just like we need to see that confident performance at home. So Colin, let's go with you. What's your prediction?
Oh, I'm very similar to you. I'm going 3-1, similar to Chris here. The reason I'm going 3-1 is, again, I'm not that confident in Paz. Paz has kind of not shown it and not shown up. And if any of y'all were up super early like I was, thanks to talking to a woman who's on East Coast time going to work at 6 a.m. Central Time, watching an Indonesia game at the same time, he did not look good at all for the Indonesian national team either, which gives me some worries, because it was usually around whenever he started doing well for the national team, it did really good for us. So that's a little bit worrying. But I think we leak one goal. But it's Kansas City, man. Like, it's one of those teams where, again, they're just they're just god awful. They have not got. I don't think they have a single win this season. They have played some. Again, they've played some decent opponents this year. I think they've played they played well. Austin's not good, but they played like San Jose, who has looked all right. They have played, I think, DC and lost. They drew Minnesota somehow, some way, and then they beat, and then they lost at LAFC. It's one of these teams where you look at it on paper and you're like, my God, they look terrible. They're averaging basically a goal a game. They are conceding I think it's like 2.5 goals a game. Like it's if you go out there at home after dropping 6 points in total from home games and you lose, heaven forbid you lose, but if you draw this team, you got to look yourself in the mirror and be like, what the heck is going on here? So again, I think the guy's going to be pissed off from what I know, and some of the guys that I still know in the locker room, they're pissed that they lost both games at home. And I know that they want to go. They're going to want to go out there, and a lot of them, some of them don't like Vermees either, and they want to get him fired too. So there's some extra motivation, Nathan. You're not too far off, but they want him gone too. So yeah, I think we get a 3-1 decent win, and it's just going to be an absolute Quill ball dog fight masterclass at home.
Ishmael?
Wait, so I have a fun little fact. Yeah, they haven't won this year. But Sporting Kansas City has not won a game. This is including preseason since September of last year.
Yep.
They lost all of their games in preseason, including against a college team.
Oh,
Um, yeah, I look. I want Peter Vermees. I don't. I. This is gonna sound dumb. I don't want. I don't care if Dallas wins. I want Peter Vermees fired. I'm tired of him being in this league. I want this team to destroy Sporting Kansas City so that Peter Vermees can be out of this league forever. I'm tired of him being always on our schedule. I'm just so over it. Can we just my guess, I'm always out here with the crazy guesses. I'm going to say 6-2. Can we just please just annihilate him? I'm just that's all I want. That's all I want for my birthday, please. My birthday's in 2 months. It's not even a birthday gift. Just please, early birthday gift.
You're like, say, hope if he doesn't get fired, this gets a domino going. He'll be fired coming birthday time.
Oh, that would be the best.
I'll go 3-0, and I'll tell you why. Because I think if they roll out this formation again, I think this fixes a lot of the issues that we had. Not all of them, but it does cover a lot of our weaknesses that we've had in the back line. Having Ramiro, who I think will continue to be a starter for a large portion of the season, by the way. But I think we're starting to see where he's no longer a 90-minute player. And maybe that's a good thing to have Kaike come in and get his feet wet, not start right away, but, come in relief of Ramiro. And I would be okay with that. I would be okay with Ramiro being your starter and Kaike coming in at the 60th minute, 50th minute, 70th minute, whatever time, and having those fresh legs. And yes, I'm sure he'll eventually earn himself a start here and there, and maybe at that point he'll force a change. But I have no problem with Ramiro being the starter. With this formation, I think it works to his strengths, and I'm kind of excited to see what this formation does going forward with Julio up top, and of course having Chu healthy and in shape, and Farrington's all of a sudden our options off the bench seem a little bit better, and that's what has me excited. I think 3-0. This team, when the defense is clicking, in the past we've seen is a team that is very hard to get clean shots on goal, and I think this formation makes that possible again.
All right. Well, great. Well, there you have it. We're predicting some wins, or otherwise, we're gonna have a different pod, this different kind of conversation. But appreciate your time, Colin, Ishmael, Jose. Thanks for taking some time out of a busy Monday and joining us. And thanks everybody for your comments, Todd. Yeah. If I get a chance in the post game, I can certainly grill Vermes about about Eastern European issues. We'll see. He may have to start a new career if all goes to plan. But appreciate Chris, appreciate Todd and Marcin for your comments. Really helps the show come alive. And of course, we'll be posting the audio tomorrow on the site or wherever you find podcasts. You can listen in, see how it sounds on whatever device it is. We just really appreciate it. We'll be looking ahead to see some good soccer this coming weekend. Until then, be well, guys. Go FC Dallas.
Go FCD.